It's almost like it's football season. It wouldn't be a Monday if I wasn't getting us rolling here a little 10-minute late spot, but that's all right. It's Monday. It is May 17th. Welcome everyone to Little River Sports Talk. Here, Macaulay, Zach Rothenberg. We got the great Chad Catcherbone, and it's funny, you guys. As we were jumping, I always love. I turned the mics off on our little intro, so because that was good. That was an issue one time. But if anyone had caught us hot on our mics before we jumped on the air, Zach, you're just complimenting Chad on his wonderful beard, and honestly, as the Irish guy here, I feel a little bit, late to the party here. Yeah. It's like you got Mama Bear, Baby Bear, like when it comes to the beards right now. Like, Zach, did you shave this morning, by the way? You're Italian.
No, it's been a while. I need to shave. It's getting itchy.
Oh, man. All right, but we got a great show for everyone.
Yeah, my bad.
Oh, no, I saw you cut out there.
Just interrupting you.
No, you weren't. I'm just obviously going a mile a minute because we're already late, and I'm just going,
I was just saying it's like it's a tough time to have it because it's getting warmer, but like it's just too nice to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's why I'm going beach scruffed here. I mean, I'm gonna act like this. I can't grow a beard much more than this anyway. But still, yeah, I'm surprised you boys are you're hanging in there, and it's warming up out here in the southeastern part of Pennsylvania. So
yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, but we got a great show for everyone lined up. So, and it's funny, it's kind of a little bit like a smorgasbord. It's fun. I went over to my parents' house for a lovely dinner before jumping on the air tonight, and we had a bit of just a bunch of different things, just picking through and stuff, and it was a delicious meal. And that's kind of what our show is tonight, I feel like, right? Like we got like NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. Chad is going to talk about how he does a bat flip this weekend. I'm very excited. I have press, like if I was a reporter, like going to you for a press conference here, I have like a handful of questions. I'd be like, and Chad, like, so, because if you notice, I wasn't very like chatty about it in the group chat. I wanted to save the dialogue and savor the nectar of this diatribe on the show. So we're gonna go through that, and then we'll talk a little about barbecue. By the way, did you guys see Myron got another ring this weekend?
I did.
Yeah, Barstool's all over it.
I know. We really just got it at the perfect time. Hopefully, it would explain why he was busy too last week. Oh, it's like we got an email saying like, hey, by the way, so Tom is available to talk, but he has the Super Bowl on Sunday. It's like, okay, like that's fine. We can talk another time. Oh my. So that's awesome stuff from Myron. We'll talk obviously about barbecue and some stuff on the show later. We'll talk about worst venues in sports as well that we've been to, and then maybe obviously we'll pick off some ones that social media told us. We got Mojo Monday. We got a little mixed bag of things. So let's just jump into it. Let's get the roots rocking and rolling with. Want to do a little clickbait to get started, boys?
Might as well.
I'll even bat lead off. I feel like I'll kind of shuffle it up a little bit here. So for starters, we don't really talk much about things outside of sports. Actually, we do talk about outside of sports things, but my clickbait, my fun one just out of the gate was: did anyone else realize Bill Gates is such a creeper until about 3 weeks ago? Like I really just thought he was the dude that his brain was probably had the mass 10 times the size of mine. Now I'm like, whoa, like a lot of X-rated stuff. So that was my fun little clickbait cleanup for that. Bill Gates apparently is not such a good dude, but now in not funny terms, I can't do this anymore, guys. I texted you guys at the right time of 7 this morning, 6, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore at this Rogers crap. And Outkick, I used to love their stuff, but it's fun. I feel like their whole thing is, we're not like the normal media, and I'm just like, yeah, but you report on the same craps. Really, what's the difference? All that being said, all we're seeing now is, guys, Aaron Rodgers apparently has a price now. Even the Packers have said they're not going to trade for him, but he has a price. And, it's not a report or anything. It's just articles basically saying, well, he signed some quarterbacks. He did this. He did that. I'm done. Anyone that's actually buying this at this point, first of all, could he move? Yeah, he might move. Because as a Packers fan, I'm saying there has to be some type of resolution. There's not. That's where my opinion is. But on the flip side, you can't just say, they signed Blake Bortles. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Because they're signing more quarterbacks. It's try harder to make a bad story. So that's my clickbait. I won't even rant. That's pretty good. I kind of tightened that up pretty good for you guys in a 2-minute stretch.
It's good. I'm surprised Blake Bortles wasn't mentioned, but yeah, it's good.
Well, and that was the one thing I'm actually glad you said, Zach, because the one thing I'll add, I did read the article, and normally when we do clickbait, I try not to, just because, but for this, I needed to have some detail behind it. And the article's going on saying and Rodgers and LaFleur never had a really good relationship their first year. They're always fighting on the sidelines until they made the playoffs. I'm like, no, none of that's true. I'm like, oh my God, you can get pages to write enough things that aren't real. That's pretty cool. To have a job like that. It's called it's fictitious, I suppose. But yeah, I guess go figure. But anyway, sorry, that's one thing I wanted to add.
No, that's good. Kieran, the youngins would be the youngins would be telling that website if they need to visit the Cap store.
I know.
Stores.
Well, is that a joke? Are you playing a joke off of the jersey you got in the background by chance on that one? Or am I completely...
That's Mr. Tebow.
Can we talk about that clickbait for a second? Because we seriously, like, there's been so much flowing in before we just go on with the ones you guys have. But, like, this whole Tim Tebow and Colin Kaepernick parallel is ridiculous. And Tim Tebow's playing tight end, everybody, like, hello. Like, different thing.
So I'm torn. I saw there's a bet for Tebow plus 1,500 to catch a touchdown this year, which in my head makes me think that, all these apps are going to make out because everyone's going to take that just being like plus 1,500, and then it gets cut in camp and you lose your money. But then at the same point, I'm like, the Jags are probably going to suck, even with Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer, new coach. So, will they just keep him on the roster to bring fans into the stands? I don't know. In which case, scoring one touchdown, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it's not the hardest thing in the world to do either. So it's kind of a pretty cool line.
That's a fun little prop bet.
Yeah.
Did you take it, Zach? You were nodding your head there for a second.
Well, I was just pulling up the Jags depth chart, and I mean, I don't know any of these tight ends that are on there, so maybe it's a better shot than we think. I don't know, but yeah, I'd hammer that bet. I should just put it in now while I'm on here, but
door's open. But what about you guys? You guys got any clickbait?
Zach has some. I somehow didn't acquire any clickbait on a Monday.
I have actually. It's funny, checks. I'm an idiot. I'm like putting you on the spot. I have one I brought for you actually that I wanted to put your brain on. That. Yeah. So we'll do Zach's first because I think yours is football based, and then we'll flow on yours. It's not football based.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So so ESPN rolled out an article why the Cleveland Browns are legitimate Super Bowl threats in 2021, and I mean. That could possibly be true, maybe, but I just feel like it's way too early. It's middle of May to start doing this. I feel like this is a common denominator we see every clickbait, on every episode. It's like it's too early. Pump the brakes. Like there's other stuff we can talk about. And I also think the Browns, if we're actually talking legitimately, I think they need to get through the AFC North first. Like there's a lot of other teams in the way. It's not, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting. I get it when it's teams that are in either the conference championships or obviously that made the Super Bowl the previous year. But when you're losing in the divisional round after winning your first playoff game in however many years it's been for the Browns, that's a little tough of an article. It's kind of like that those way too early rankings after every championship. Like literally the second the clock hits zero, ESPN throws out way too early next year, and it's like teams that were like bottom 10 in the league the year before are like magically in the top 10. You're like, okay, well we don't even know they're going to draft yet, but all right.
Yeah, and then they do a mock draft.
They got great draft position. They're going to be great next year. It's like they didn't draft the people.
Yeah.
Sorry, Zach, cut you off. What were you saying?
Let's say, then they'll do a mock draft that's like a year and a half or 2 years away too. At the same time, like the potential of what it could be. It's like okay.
We should actually look up. I'm pretty sure they did that with either Darnold or Trevor Lawrence. Like after, like when they were going in, they were like, "Yo, like this guy." Again, they were like mocking, like who. It was ridiculous. But real quick, so Chad, I have one for you. So, the Phillies had a bit of an interesting weekend. By the way, kind of exciting. We're going to our first. Well, for me, I'm first sporting event. And God knows how long tomorrow. So that'll be kind of fun.
I'm no longer excited, Kieran. You can be excited as you want to be, but I'm not really excited anymore.
We're going to lose that game.
To the Phillies double A or single A team or whoever they decided to bring up for the game
it is
turmoil in the city right now, Kieran.
Well, that's actually it's funny. So let me ask you this, Chad. So real quick, I'll play before we get your thoughts on it for anyone that didn't hear like the 30-second bit on Girardi. But this is a running. So maybe you want to just paint a little picture for everyone, Chad, because honestly, you could probably paint it better than obviously just as a fan, but like just as a baseball guy too, like. I know there were some issues with Segura dropped there were a lot of errors on Saturday in the Phillies Blue Jays game, and then it leaked, I guess, into Sunday's drama on the bench. But I'm not sure. Can you paint probably a little bit better picture for us what happened?
Yeah. So the Phillies are bottom 10, definitely bottom 15, but I think bottom 10 in the league in errors. Their hitting has been, it's streaky, but it's been pretty good.
All right, there you go.
The hitting. No, hitting's been okay. It's been the bullpen again, and it's been errors. The starting pitching's actually number 1 in the league in innings pitched, which is awesome. Like you didn't think that going into the year, where only really the two of the best pitchers were the ones that you knew could do stuff. Getting stuff out of Eflin every start now, and Velasquez is actually doing something that's incredible. Anyway, back to the main point is defense. It's been an issue the whole year, and Girardi made a point before the series to tell the guys to clean it up. Like, I think he was trying to the series is down in Florida in a minor league, at a spring training facility, because the Blue Jays can't play in Canada. So I think he was kind of, trying to make it like a joke, but also at the same point, like, we need to actually clean this up. Like, we're going down to spring training again. So this is going to be the time that we take care of it. And the Phillies just didn't decide to do that. They made an error. Yeah, they made an error on Friday night. They followed it up with 2 more errors on Saturday. And I don't know, I think it was 2 or 3 yesterday as well. One of which was a Gene Segura. Just every error he makes, it's a ball that he should more than have. It's not like it's just like, hard hit and he gets the error because the guy because the other team didn't want the other guy to get hit. It's literally just like he should make this play, and that's every single error Gene Segura ever makes. So in the midst of all this, Scott Kingery had run into the wall in right field. And due to injuries and the Phillies' just mismanagement of their roster, they don't have anyone on the bench. Like, they have Didi Gregorius, who hasn't played in 4 games now, sitting the bench but not on the IR. Bryce Harper, who's missed the last 3 games, sitting the bench, not on IR. JT Realmuto was hurt, and then right before the game, Knapp was hurt. So they just didn't have a bench. So what Girardi did was put Harper in there, even though he was hurt and couldn't even swing a bat. And that led to a little bit of a conversation. Like, he kind of had to push Harper into the game. So he was already a little bit heated. And then I guess he was trying to talk to Segura about the error, and Segura was just having none of it, which led to a little, back and forth between the two. Our third base coach, Dusty Wathan, had to break it up. And Girardi did not want to speak to anybody about it after the game. So right now we have a whole, yeah, he didn't even give a slight bit of an answer. So we don't. Right now we're just up in limbo.
I can. Do you want to roll the clip for everyone?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it. And this is great for the audio folks. They can hear this as well. So here, I'll play what Joe Girardi said, the manager of the Phillies, after Sunday's game.
Thing you're going to get about it. All right, I'm done with it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jim and then Bob.
I know you're doing your job, but that's it.
Joe, conversation or confrontation?
Next question.
How about the optics of all this? I mean,
Next
today,
question. Next question.
I mean, from
Jimmy,
baseball.
I'm not going to talk about it, Jimmy. I'm not going to talk about it. Next question. You got a baseball question? Ask me a baseball question.
It's never uplifting as a fan when you get when your manager's doing the next question. Like, just, it's like, I want happier days. It's like when LaFleur's talking about Rodgers, and at this point he looks like what Schrager was saying on Good Morning Football last week, like somebody's dog was stolen from them. By the way, I have a hell of a story about that, but we'll get to that in a minute. But so I mean, see, I'm writing this in chat. I think you guys are going to play your best game of the season and absolutely just bull rush the Marlins tomorrow. Not that this all of a sudden turns into a Phillies Marlins pregame show for tomorrow night, but I would say this. I would say it's the beginning, middle of May. Like, really, your hands on it. Would your hand be on the panic button? And just in general with sports, with these types of moments, right? Like, they all have them. We just lost Chad. Look at that. So, Zach, how are we doing with half a box? I'm going to do this thing. Oh, there we go. We got Chad back. Do we have enough? No, I'm going to do a little. Put myself on the spot with this the solo shot until we get Chad back. There we go. See, I'm glad that we could do that because I didn't want to actually be the solo person on the camera. So there we go. So Chad, I was hitting the panic button there for a second because you weren't there, and I didn't know how to answer my own question. But that being said, what do you think? Like, are you hitting the panic button in mid-May on like something like this, just in general with sports, right? Like the NFL has these types of snafus week 3, right? The NHL has these types of moments before Thanksgiving. The NBA, same thing before Christmas. Like I don't know. Like, I mean, this is why I was asking: is this clickbait or not?
I mean, I don't think it's. I wouldn't really say it's clickbait. I think it's one of those moments where every franchise goes through it at some point or another. It's like they got caught with their pants down, and Girardi was the one that's in the thick of it, and he knows he's the one that has to answer the questions. But there's just no good answer there is no good answer for why Didi Gregorius is still on the active roster. And I'm not saying that in a performance standpoint. I'm saying that in a standpoint of the man is hurt. We have a 10-day IL in the MLB. He's already missed 4 games. Yes. And we have a day off, right? So at minimum, that's 5, and we'd have to just 5 more days for him to recover from this elbow with Nick Maton playing spectacular baseball in his absence. So it really makes no sense why he was not put onto the IL.
Screwing me up in our fantasy baseball league, by the way, having him. I'm just like, what do I do here?
Yeah,
you went Sixto or the. I'm like, just like, ah. Like,
you went from first to down below in those standings real quick.
So it happens. You don't check a few weeks. Zach, I'm sorry. I think I'm playing you this week. I actually gave a damn and re-iron the outline up out this week.
I don't think I'm playing you this week. I checked.
You got the Mighty Mountain Dogs?
Oh, I am. Am I playing?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Let's go. All right. Well, it's on, man. After everything you put me through, you swept me last year in fantasy football. You knocked me out of my fantasy. All right. You know what?
I am playing you. You're up. Well, you're winning 5-0-7 right now. So.
Don't worry, it won't last. All right, let's start with the show though, real quick. It's that point. We're talking playoffs and this and that. Playoffs. Do you guys want to go NHL or NBA playoffs first to get started with it? And by the way, I love the chat going. We got Uncle Ricky in here already, and I love the chat. Two was a class act. So obviously, we want to hear from the chat. I feel bad. I was kind of neglecting it earlier. Not neglecting it. We were in the middle of the dialogue, and now make sure we get the chat involved. Want to hear from you guys tonight? You call it. You call it Mondays. But on the flip side, do you guys want to go NHL or NBA first?
Let's get NHL out of the way.
All right. It's so funny that
neither of our teams are involved in this, so let's just knock it out.
That's literally actually the first bullet point I have. So are the outsiders. We're literally the 3 guys at Shanahan when it was you heard the girl in 7th period being like, so it's gonna be at the Johnson's house, and you're just kind of like, are they talking about a party? Yeah, it's a full party at Kim Johnson's house. That's a fake name, but just and you're just kind of like.
Oh, I wasn't there.
It's no, I didn't hear it either. And then sadly, Zach, I don't take this the wrong way. I'm like the kid. I know you didn't get invited to the party because that losing streak. I'm just turning you didn't get invited either, did you? And you're like, no. And I'm like,
it's like,
yeah, we're in it together. Yeah, we all suck. So all that being said, I'll almost do a split question. Right, there were some great games though. So last 3 of the first 4 games went in overtime. And Zach, welcome to that show. Playoff overtime hockey is the best thing. How much are you watching this though? I almost put this for the fans of our show, I should say. If you are not a hockey fan, if your team's out of the playoffs, how much you lock in, right? I feel like football is the only sport you actually do. But just general thoughts on everything so far, if you guys have watched any of it.
Well, for the Sabres, we have a lot of roster headlines and drama going around there, so I've been paying close attention to that. But I don't know. I've been kind of busy. I haven't really been able to check in on it lately, but I definitely will. Kind of being fairly new and kind of back in the hockey scene, so we'll definitely be checking in. I won't be on my top of my priority list, but I'll be checking in for sure. There's some great teams, obviously, and some great matchups.
It's tough, and Chad, I'll put this one on you. It's tough. I'm looking at these graphics. How the hell am I supposed to get excited when it's the Islanders and the Penguins are playing each other, but make sure you save room for little Bruins and Capitals. It's yeah. As a Flyers fan, I'm gagging, but it's just I need to temper myself. This is not a Flyers segment.
I'm going to turn it into a little bit of one or two. I think the reason why I'm not so into the playoffs this year, which I think it's been every other year for the last 5 or 6 years that the Flyers have not been in the playoffs. It's been playoffs, not playoffs, playoffs, not playoffs, and it's just been going on like that. Anyway, all of those years I was still intrigued and interested in watching the NHL playoffs, but this year I'm just not, and I think that's because it was just weird. Like we had last year's playoffs end to the Islanders, and there was obvious things wrong with the team, but it was like one of those things where the guys were young and they were all coming back, and we had a really good goaltender. And then we get to the season. Yeah, well, and then we get to the season, and opening night, like it's great. I'm fairly certain we won. Like the announcers on NBC are literally saying this was a quote from the NBC announcers, like, "Don't worry, Flyers fans, like, this team's good." Like, they said that on live TV. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, like, they are good. Like, they are good. And then they just weren't. Like,
and then their narrator was like, they were not good.
Yeah.
I mean, like the guy from HBO Sports, like, what's his name? The Flyers were not good that year. Like,
yeah. So it's just one of those moments where it was just defeated the whole year. Like, the goalie that was supposed to be our savior is all of a sudden letting up 3 goals a game. The defense, like the young defenders that were really fast and offensively gifted, while actually still playing defense, all of a sudden weren't doing any of that, including the defense part. And again, young forwards mixed with veteran forwards, just not contributing. Wings. I guess
we suck. Right, right.
Yeah. But that's to even put more on this onus here, Kieran, is like now the playoffs are going on. You look at the Bruins; they have Taylor Hall. You look at the Capitals; they now have Michael Raffle.
Michael Raffle was on their team the other day. I was like, wow, that's how much of a rock I'm under. Like,
turn on the Penguins game, you see Jeff Carter. So it's like I'm literally seeing all of the mistakes that we've made or like not made, but somehow ended up on another team. That's one of them's going to win a Stanley Cup, which happens every year. But
every year,
like this, I can't, like, my blood pressure goes up every time I watch these games because I'm like, well, they used to be on the Flyers. They didn't do any of this.
Well, that's that point. I was going to say the blood pressure goes up, and it went up, I guess, as a fan, right? With 3 of these 4 games, you're right though. I'm trying to like take the high road, and be like, So the other teams, like it's hard, Chad. You're right, because it's the same broken record. But looking at the games this past weekend, obviously, like I said, a lot of them went to overtime, which is pretty. I mean, that's really exciting. And tonight, so we got game 2 of Bruins Caps tonight. Caps are up 1-0. Preds and Canes. That's kind of a funny, kind of funky series. Both of them being East and West kind of normally. But Blues Avalanche, and then that's going to wrap it up on tonight's slot. And then tomorrow is Islanders Pens, Wild Vegas, Lightning Panthers. And it's funny, I will add this about teams not. This is I think the biggest axe to grind I have with the NHL playoffs. This is kind of weird this year. And Chad, this would be so fly. Honestly, it would be any of our teams, Zach. But like, if you guys notice, the Canucks are still playing. Like, they can't make the playoffs because they had like that massive COVID outbreak. Mm-hmm. They're like still finishing their season. It's like, what? Like, that'd be so Flyers. Like, me and Joe were talking about that earlier today. Like it'd be so Flyers to like have to just like walk through the finish line. But I don't know. I just say it's kind of bizarre that the NHL is doing that.
Well, I think all of it's bizarre. Like I mean, I get it. I understand what's going on between the United States and Canada. It just seems so bizarre to have a U.S. champion than a Canadian champion. And
wait, they're doing that?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Really? They didn't find a spot for the Canadian teams?
I'm fairly certain that this is what's going on.
I mean, to your point, I'm looking at all these matchups. There's no Canadian versus American games.
Well, because they're doing the division. It's the top 4 in the division make the playoffs. Then the divisional guys battle it out until one team comes out of the division. Like they'll do one for the first round is number 1 versus the 4 seed in the division, and then the 2 versus the 3, and then the winners of those matchups will play each other. So say the 1 and 2 of that division will play each other. Then the winner of that division moves forward. So the Canadian teams will continuously play each other for probably another 3 weeks until we're done.
Okay, that makes sense. I'm looking at the first game, the Jets and Oilers on Wednesday.
Right, and that's why you see the Caps and Bruins and Islanders Pens because they're all in that East division.
Kind of locking everything. See, Chad, there's an excuse for all of us.
Yeah, so I think they did that for the reason that we're talking about, to hopefully, as things ease up, that they'll be able to make something work and get the Canadian teams to a location in the United States or something. But
that makes so much more sense, Zach. Look at that. Like that, Chad and I had bases loaded, nobody out, and you just came in and got 3 strikeouts for us on that.
No.
What was the other thing I was going to add in there? No, I was just gonna rip the Flyers, but we crossed that off the list.
We ripped
Right.
Taylor Hall too, because my man only had like 3 or 4 goals, I think, all season for us. And then he goes to the Bruins and he's back at it again, like not like he's skipping a beat. It's almost like he was in the preseason for us, just kind of staying fresh and in game shape. And then he goes to Boston and now he's like born again hard. It's kind of annoying.
I don't know why I mentioned Taylor Hall as a former Flyer. That was weird, but yeah.
No,
Thanks for subtly correcting my mistake.
I didn't even realize that, honestly. I mean, I knew that he wasn't a Flyer, but I thought you were coming at it from like a Sabres guy perspective, Flyers guy perspective.
Yeah, it's kind of where I thought you were going with.
Yeah, you're good. I didn't think that.
But I'll tell you, it's a perfect way to like segue into the NBA stuff. So it's funny because just like another unique playoff picture. So the NBA is doing this play-in game thing. So I guess the East is on Tuesday. So the way it worked was, and Chad, clean me up on this. It's 1 through 5 got buys, 1 through 6 got buys,
1 through 6.
1 through 6 got buys, and then 7 will play 10, 8 will play
7
9.
will play 8. 7 will play 8.
9 will play. Wait.
You ready? I'll finish
You
that
gotta
for
be
you.
kidding me! I'm looking at this right now. Why the hell? Is 7 play?
Listen. I got you right now.
Okay.
7's playing 8. 7's playing 8. 9's playing 10. If you win the 7-8 game, you get the 7 seed. The loser of that game plays the winner of the 9-10 game for the 8th seed.
Okay, that's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's juicy.
Okay,
it's juicy.
all right. I'm in. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I got a little excited there.
Is this just because it was a shortened regular season and they're doing this to give these teams a little extra chance, or is this going to be from now on? This is how it's going to be. Do we know that?
we don't know yet. So they started this. I don't think it was the same exact format last year, but they started this last year because of the restart, and it wasn't really a factor in the East, but the West was just absolutely loaded in the bottom. Loaded as in like way too many teams with like about the same percentage record wise. So to make it kind of more more even, like it was just a play-in tournament to get those last seeds wrapped up. And then I guess they liked the idea. I knew they were only playing 72 games this year, and they decided to keep the play-in tournament, except make it the way it is currently. So it'll be interesting to see if they keep it. Now it was great last year because it got support from all of these great athletes, but of course the second LeBron sniffed that he'd be in it or potentially be in it, he has since come back and said the person that created it should be fired. So God forbid LeBron loses these 2 games. It probably will not be around next year.
Get this fingers crossed. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Get them up.
And the Warriors are starting to get hot, right, at the right time right now. I feel like they were struggling in the beginning. Now all of a sudden they're kind of getting back to their old ways, and that's who the Lakers play is the Warriors for the 7th seed.
Yeah, Steph's just on a different planet right now, so it's going to be juicy.
Yeah, and can we also migrate some clickbait real quick? So
Please.
did you see LeBron's thing saying, "Oh yeah, Steph's the MVP in the league for sure"? Like he's trying to play Mr. Humble and Mr.
No,
under the radar.
That's what LeBron does. He sets up excuses for himself so that when he does lose to Steph Curry, all of his fanboys would be like, "See, LeBron knows this guy's the MVP. He's just the MVP. What's he supposed to do?"
Respect. Props where it's deserved. He's
He
a
lost an
humble
MVP,
guy.
so yeah,
It's exactly he did not say a single word about Steph Curry the entire year, and in fact, he was campaigning for himself before he got hurt. But yeah, now all of a sudden that he's playing Steph, this guy's the MVP, man.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
I know. He's setting that stage up. He did the same thing when they played each other in the finals too. He started talking about how great. Remember he was saying how the Jordan Bulls never saw a team like this. It was just dude, shut up.
He's trying to make it so when they lose, it's less of a fall than what it really would be if he did.
He is the. It's funny. I'll actually put all of us our generation on blast on this. It's MJ is the generation that's 10, 15 years older than us that has that thicker skin than we all do, and we're the LeBron, it's I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast and he had Marcus Luttrell on a few weeks ago. It was one of the best interviews I heard. And they had a quote on there and they said, tough times make tough people make easy times make soft people. Of course, I knew that I was going to mess this up. Of all the times I've ever had to say this, of course, I butchered it on the actual show. It's tough times make tough people make easy times make soft people make hard times, and then the loop continues on. And like that's kind of what I feel with LeBron though. He's the definition of like the soft person and like the soft like right, like making up these excuses before they even play the Warriors or like it's and then like naming himself the GOAT. It's like it's the same. I mean, we just can rip him every show for an hour if we really wanted to, but no, I mean, but Chad, it's funny. I'm glad you brought a lot more clarity because most of my questions for you guys on this, like on this NBA play-in format, was like, is this interesting? Does it bring parity to the sport? I like this, especially Chad, you know, from coaching in your baseball days. Like, it's kind of got that, you know, that Sunday tournament vibe. When I'm texting, I'm like, "Are you gonna be over for the Eagles game?" You're like, "Well, like if we win this game, then we'll play at this time." And like, you know, like the the whole get up. It's fun, you know. I don't know. What do you think, Zach? I know you were saying you weren't following it too close. I'm not putting you on the spot. I think to that point, like, is that more intriguing? Like, are you now maybe thinking of watching now Tuesday and Wednesday?
No, sorry, I have to be blunt. No,
I love it.
The only games that I'll probably check out will be the Knicks, just because I'm happy that they made it into the playoffs.
Let's talk about that. That's
like 10 years, it seems like. So
hold on, before we go into that, I just because this was sitting on my mind because it goes completely into what we were saying before. So, StatMuse, which is another thing that we love, which just brings out all these mostly pointless stats, cited that LeBron has the most 25 points per game seasons in NBA history at 17, and the way that it's formatted, it says 17 dash LeBron James, 16 there's nobody, 15 there's nobody, 14 nobody, 13 nobody, then 12, so 12 seasons of 25 points per game, Jordan, Durant, Kobe, and Malone. And LeBron's done it 17 straight seasons, right? So normal athletes like retweet this, maybe give it a quote tweet and like talking about like sorry,
I was about to say, was that me? I could hear. We got you. We can still hear you.
yeah,
I hear something.
Technology.
It's a hell of a thing. Zach, I was going to ask you something. It actually slipped my mind. I was going to ask you after the show. Now it's like, well, we can always just do it now.
Back.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, we're back. Okay. Anyway, so LeBron's on 17 straight seasons. Like most athletes would just kind of like pat themselves on the back, maybe give them, a retweet. LeBron has to come out and say, "Since I was 19 years old, ! And I'm a pass first guy. Always have been. That's why I've never mentioned with the greats of scoring, huh? ? That's perfect because I'd rather keep it that way. Hashtag the kid from Akron. Hashtag FSG. Hashtag James Gang. Hashtag blessed."
So it's funny? I'm going to come in here with one of the hottest takes of all time. And I mean this. And I know that like we don't really, I don't know what the word is I want to use. Like we like to try to keep everything like when sports maybe has a very serious tone to it, we try to take the serious off with a lot of things, right? Like politics is, I guess, what I'm trying to hint around. We don't really try to be a political show, right? When sports gets kind of political, we just try to say, look, everyone's got an opinion. Let's just kind of step back. But I will say this about LeBron. I've been saying this to you guys for a little bit now. And I think this opinion kind of came on me after watching The Last Dance, right? Like, and there was a lot of pushback on Michael Jordan when, he didn't really care like what political party bought his sneakers, right? He was just like, I'm just playing basketball, which to me personally, I appreciate just because I thought he was just trying to focus on like what he could do and what he could, like, you know what I mean? Like don't bite off something you can't chew kind of a thing, right? And I think if you I'm just generally saying this, feel like one way or another, I think everyone could probably agree with, regardless of like all the things LeBron said in the political realm, you feel some type of way about it. Whether you agree or disagree, you strongly feel some type of way about it. And I would argue that there's a lot of people that don't, agree obviously with some of his comments and stance. And I think he knows that. I think deep down he knows he's not better than Michael Jordan. I think deep down he knows he won't be the greatest of all time, but he's like that awkward, like it's like the Packers where you just keep making the NFC Championship game, but you're never actually the king. It's like that's kind of where he's at. And it's almost like he knows, like, hey, you know what? In 20 years from now, when people say, no, LeBron's not the greatest, like Michael Jordan's, they're like, well, that's just because you don't like where he stood on his politics. Like, And he's setting that security blanket up for himself because, like you said, everything he does, he has a layer of excuses behind. Like you guys were saying, whether it's playing Steph Curry in a playing game, whether it's playing Golden State back in the finals, whether it's him needing some more supporting cast in Cleveland, like there's always some type of like lazy ass excuse behind it. And that's my hot take as I come in here. I just think that when this is all said and done, and we all really start like debating on like who was better than this person, that person. He almost falls in like in ancient time with the Wilt Chamberlains, the Julius Irvings, right? The Moses Malones, the Larry Birds, the Michael Jordans, etc. The Kobe Bryants. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, well, you're just docking him points because he got political and he actually had the guts to do it. I'm like, no, that's why he came in so hot because like he knows he can get that discount now. Sorry, that was my hottest of hot takes.
No, you're right. It's just LeBron.
Appreciate it.
Just LeBron. Like the man can't even take a compliment at this stage in his career, which is just insane to me. Like he literally was given a compliment in that tweet, and he had to follow it up with degrading everybody else for not considering him a scorer. Like, okay.
Yeah, and if you're, he's been in the league, 18, 19 years now, and if you're in the league that long and you are the best, like you should be scoring that much per, like MJ played 15 seasons, and he had 12 of his seasons, he was 25 or more, right? So, it's right, you're going to play that much, of course you're going to have a high number like that. But
anyone that talks about how great they are is an insecure person, so I think the fact that he's an insecure player is because he knows he's not the best of all time. So
right, exactly.
Well,
I have some interesting Knicks stats.
Please, I was going to say that was the other thing. Let's talk about your Knickerbockers, Zach.
So I saw some posts, about I know they're the 4th seed, but like for the Knicks, it's been forever since they've even been relevant. So this is pretty cool. And they're doing so without a super team forming or whatever. Like Tom Thibodeau did a phenomenal job this season, and it shows in these stats right here. So in opposing points per game this season, they're first. Last season, they were 18th in the league. Opposing field goal percentage, they're first. Last year, they were 27th. Opposing three-point field goal percentage, they're first. Last year, they were 28th. So, from a defensive side of the ball, they've stepped up big time. And I think that's obviously why they're 41-31 in the 4th seed. So,
yeah, they're a challenge to deal with.
Like a scrappy team. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's a little reminiscent of. I was saying this to somebody yesterday. It's kind of like the Sixers 3 years ago. They're coming onto the scene, and it's not mostly because of their offensively skilled players. It's because they're locking down and actually playing defense, which a lot of the NBA doesn't do. Now, it's the very unfortunate thing is at some point in time, the heart is going to be ripped open because the teams in the playoffs just continue to score no matter how much defense you play. But it's certainly great to have yourself building on that end because there's a ton of scorers in the league. Like if you have the money and you know how to use it properly, you're going to get some scoring. It's really just about building those superstars, which it seems like Julius Randle is becoming one now. And playing some defense. When you get to that point where you are in these tight contested playoff series late in the year, defense is going to matter. You just have to have the offense along with it.
Yep. Well said.
Yeah, we're on a collision course to have a Knicks Sixers 1 versus 4
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but I was actually no offense to Zach, but I was actually praying for that because
I was too. But
I did not want to see the Heat.
I don't think he takes offense to the Heat, the Nets, the Bucks.
I don't take any offense to anything at all when it comes to the NBA because, like I said, I don't really follow as much as I used to, and that the Knicks, now that the Knicks, they finally found their footing. I've always rooted for the Knicks. Don't get me wrong, but
you're going to get
now we got some skin in the game. I might care a little bit more.
You're on TNT. You're playing the Hawks or someone in the first round. Is that who you guys are going to play in the first round?
Yeah,
Hawks. Yeah,
it's Knicks Hawks.
You're going to be so ready to rock and roll for that. It's one of those things where it's good. Now it's I don't know, but then when you see it, you see that playoff logo at the Garden, you're just going to be like, oh my God, here we go, this is it.
We'll see.
Everything goes out the window after that.
We'll see.
Julius Randle and
you guys win game 1 94 to 91 on a buzzer beater 3 in the corner. You're going to be like, Like, that's actually
your first Mike Breen bang moment of the playoffs.
Because it's been like 10, 11 years since that's happened. So yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Speaking of that, Chad, we really should have had a bang like Mike Breen at the whatever bar restaurant you're at like this weekend. Chad Counter, bang! There it is.
Oh baby.
Hell of a so wait.
Yeah,
Zach,
I don't even know if Zach knows about it.
I don't know any of this.
This is great. So you probably read the notes. Like
I kind of have an idea, but we'll see.
So Chad, if you want, I'll be your hype guy. I'll be like, now batting, like left, whatever. So Chad, we got a text in our little group chat, our third down group chat. Chad, was going for it in a situation here. It's 4th and 1. You usually punt the ball in a situation like this, and you leave the restaurant. And he punted. He actually faked the punt and got the first down. So I'll stop speaking in Tom Riddles. There you go. So Lauren's in the chat. So there's a Harry Potter reference. Chad, give us. You're very clutch this weekend. I want to take it away.
Yeah, so it's something that Kieran and I do, which I find hilarious, is when we're talking in reference to something that we do well, and it's usually like 98% of the time referring to something we do well, like with a girl.
Or to a female to dating, if you will, those types of things.
We'll either text each other, first down, which usually that's not it. It's usually just the emoji of the chains, like because you're moving the chains. You're moving the chains.
So it's to hang out and spin chains, like.
So I just from the bar just randomly sent Kieran a text in the group message said, "Hey Kieran," and it was just 3 chain emojis. And he's like, "Oh baby, what happened?" So it was actually, I'd probably say it might be the number one thing that I've ever done in terms of like just putting myself out there. So we go to the same bar like every Saturday now. It's kind of become a little bit of a routine. Me and a couple of my friends from high school that live in the city. So we go to this bar, and it's
what
4
is
of
the
us.
name of the bar? So this is me being a reporter here. Like, Chad, quick question, follow-up. Chad, what's the name of the location you guys were at for this event?
It's called Finn McCool's. It's right in Center City.
It's pretty cool.
It's great. So we're sitting there. It's 4 of us at a table. And again, this is still like COVID-ish rules. Like, we're kind of regulars there now, which is something that I never thought I'd say, but happened to be that way. So it's COVID-ish rules. So you're confined to your table. So we have a table, here, and then over on our right, probably about 10 feet away, is a table, and it is a girl about my age and her mom and her dad.
Triangle offense, huh?
Yeah. So, I thought she was pretty cute, but I'm just sitting there like, it's mom and dad are there, so there's nothing you can do about that.
There's 8 guys in the box.
Yeah.
It's hard to run the ball in a
Zone
situation
defense.
like that.
It's a Syracuse zone defense right now.
Right.
We're showing blitz.
So the thing about this bar, and it also ties into my love of Yingling, is there's like, I think 3 beers they have there that they'll give you just like a huge glass for, and the Yingling's one of them. I always get the, we call it the Big Ying. I always get the Big Ying, and I'm sitting there drinking that, and I look over and I see that she has a bottle of Yingling, and I was like, okay, now something has to be done.
You're on the line of scrimmage. You saw with the defense. You've seen this look before.
Yeah.
You've seen the linebacker move across a little bit there to kind of like line up in the slot, but you don't know if they're going to drop back in coverage on the tight end or they're going to blitz,
Right, exactly. So it's just one of those things where you just don't see it every day. Like, it's like not a lot of people drink Yingling. PA more so than anywhere else, but on top of that, you don't really see that many females drinking Yingling. So I'm like jumping at the bit here.
That are attractive.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to just like just gonna go fire myself from the show now. Like, guys. Sorry, I had to just lay that out there. Keep going.
Yeah. So anyway, So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, guys, I'm gonna send her. I'm gonna send her a big yang, and they're like, no, you're not.
While she's with her parents.
Correct. They're like, no, you're like, all my friends are like, no, no, you're not. Like, you're not gonna do that. Like, you're just gonna keep drinking yours. Like, that's not gonna happen. And I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. And I just, without thinking, our bartender came back over again. We're like kind of regulars there now, so like we have conversation with the dude like every single time for like 15 minutes. So I called him over, got him a little close to the table. I'm like, all right, so I need you to get a big yang, and I need you to give it to that girl over there, but don't say who it's from. Like, I need you to plant the seed. Like, that's it.
That's
and you
smart,
walk away.
Because I'm just going to add in here. I feel like normally when I hear these types of stories, the person's like,
yeah,
like they try and do that whole thing. Like, I got you the drink. Like, so I love that. You're going Mr. Anonymous here. Ambiguous Chad's coming out.
Mysterious. Nice.
Yeah. It's a beautiful mystery, as Aaron Rodgers would probably describe you right now.
Yeah. So he, he's laughing. He's like, no, I got you. So he goes, and it's like 5 minutes. So I'm like, is he actually going to do it or what? And then he comes back out. I see it in his hands. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. And I start looking around. Like it's all outdoor, by the way. Like they have indoor seating, but when you're there, everybody goes outside.
It's outdoor. It's outdoor seating up in the dome.
Right. So I'm like looking around at all the other tables, and I'm like, does anyone else here have a big yang? Like, or is this going to be completely obvious? Because we're like one of the closest ones to them. Like, no. So
I love this.
I don't see a single one. So I'm like, oh no, because I thought of part one of this plan, but part two, I'm like, no idea what I'm going to do. So she gets it. And of course, like all of us, like right away, like the mom's looking, like the dad's just kind of sitting there, like smiling, but like you can tell in the back of his head, like, who am I killing? Is what I'm thinking. I was about to say,
were the parents like the Chris Hansen look like?
No, the mom was like, no, the mom was like hype, like looking around, but like it was just
family, Chad.
It was just like one of those looks from the dad where it's like like he has to smile because like it's his daughter, but like at the same point he's like, I'm gonna kill this kid. Like, who's doing this?
Zach, I could see you being, if you're the dad in this daughter situation, like.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny.
Right. So and the girl's looking around too, and I'm just kind of like I'm looking over, but then I'm looking back at my friends, like, and just, like not like trying to make eye contact. And I'm still like, now my friends are asking like, okay, like what are you gonna do? Like, are you just gonna go over there? And I'm like, dude, I have no idea. Haven't really thought this through yet. And the second that we start talking about that, the dad gets up and puts on his mask, and I'm like, oh, he's going to the bathroom. I'm like, this is the time.
It's beautiful. You saw the safety commit, so it's like Troy Aikman, and you can see Rodgers looked on over there. You can see the safety moving back over, and Rodgers knew the minute that was open right over there in the top. Oh, it's beautiful, Chad. This is great.
Right. Well, I mean, it is great.
Like art.
So he walks away. I immediately get up, and it was one of those things where like, as I'm getting up and kind of had probably a smirk on my face. Like, I look up and I see the mom, and she's now like shaking her head and like smiling. So I just I walk over there, and I'm looking at kind of both of them, and I'm like, yeah. So like that was from me. Like and then I looked at the mom. I'm like, I'm sorry for like the situation, but like just thought like and you're very cute, like you're pretty, that kind of a thing. Obviously directed back towards the girl, not the mom. Did
you add in a compliment? Just be like, look back at the mom, like, obviously the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, though, like or something like that, like to kind of woo her over or something.
No, because what I forgot to mention here, and I did text you guys this, so this is confirmed. I think I was legitimately entire body shaking as I was walking over there. So, the smart comments weren't really coming to me. It was just like the normal, like, let's
Jordan Peele gif, like with the sweat just just profusely going down your face.
Right, exactly. So it's going well. The mom's like hyping me up, like like so bold, like no one would ever do this. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm just getting through it. Like, it's like I'm at a press conference and like, I know I did well, but like some of these questions are tough. So I'm trying to make the best answers. And then I see the dad come back out.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, okay, all right, here we go.
Justine Anderson comes in now to ask a question.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right. So Chad, I saw you used a white circle emoji. You're such a racist. It's like, okay, Justine Anderson, relax. Like,
Yeah. So
anytime she's on a T, I gotta get her. Sorry.
no, you're good. So
So the got me so excited right now.
yeah, the dad's walking back and he's kind of like, I think, realizing as he's getting to the table like what's going on, and I just kind of froze when he got there and said hello, and then like if I'm standing like here, he had to like walk past me to then get to his seat, right? So I kind of like turned as he's like getting past me, and the first thing that came out of my mouth was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry for doing this to you."
You called him man?
I think so. It's something like that. It's like, "Hey, I'm so sorry for doing this to you." Putting you in this spot, and he was just like, no, don't worry about it. And I'm like, oh, by the way, my name's Chad. Like, and that's, I kind of just left it at that with the dad.
Could you imagine he's just going home? He's like, my daughter just got a random drink sent by a guy named Chad. Like, this is like my worst nightmare. Like,
Yeah,
if I was a
exactly.
dad, I don't know that you're Chad. I think you're Chad. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
with one B, not two.
Yeah. So, but throughout all of this, like, the intention when I'm going over there, because like at this point I still have nothing. I don't have like I've just had a conversation with these people, but the whole time, like, I had my phone. Actually, I'll just pull it up exactly the way it was. I had my phone like this, like that's just, I was just holding it like this, not like awkwardly, like I just kind of had it in my hand.
Not like a reporter in front of like a reporter,
Right.
that whole thing.
Right. So like we're still having conversation, and then she just kind of goes like, so like, and then like looked down at my phone, and she was like, "Is that like why you came over here?" And I was like, "I mean, yeah, like, yeah." So no, it's great. She gave me her number. She put her full name in my phone, so like I knew who it was. So all in all, it was a very risky play. Wouldn't advise it to the non-strong-willed, but we're here. We made it.
In heart.
Yeah.
I think that move should be forever known as the Philly special.
Yeah.
Philly special.
Yeah.
in that term, in the getting a number while the girl is with her parents at a bar. It's nice.
Yeah, you order a Yingling for a girl who's at the bar with her parents. That's like the ultimate Philly special. Because it was a trick play. She wasn't expecting it. No one was expecting it coming. And like of all people, like Nick Foles,
And then there was a blitz that came in at the end with the dad coming in.
Exactly.
It was a whatchamacallit?
Safety blitz.
Yeah, safety.
Doug and Nick in the combo was like the girl, and like Trey Burton was more kind of like the mom. Like they kind of set everything up, and then dad blitz off the edge, but
It just came back at like 1,000 miles an hour and then paused again. And now we're off.
We're off.
Live video has ended.
The dad heard you and decided he's going to hack in.
Yeah.
Shut it down. You're on mute. You're on mute.
there it is. Karen, you're on mute there, sir. Like, look, Chad. You look at this. The boxes all moved around. Now I'm Chad. Zach's me, and then you're Zach now. Chad, look at that.
Wow.
Hey,
look at that.
The loyal listeners will know who's who. So
I know. I'll do a little, I'll do a little this too for fun. Whoop, whoop.
I'm back on mine. It's on the one I'm looking at. I see you on you and me on me and Zach on him.
With our names?
Yeah. Wait.
No, definitely not. Look at that.
No.
We cleaned it up. Oh yeah, on ours we're good. Not on there. Not on the production. Okay. I was on Clutch there. Real quick. So it's fine. That was awesome. We were like rolling along. I realized how like long our stream's been going. So real quick, do you guys want to talk about?
Well, you're about to ask a question.
Yeah. What was your question there?
Because you froze like this.
All right, let's think. Yeah, duh, I'm an idiot. All right. No, what I was gonna say is, so now what? Like, so what's going on with it? So you got the number. Now where are we at?
Yeah, I texted her when like she had left the bar before we did, and I texted her when we got back. So we've just been talking so far.
Nice.
Little powwow.
Yeah.
Chatting.
Yeah.
I love that.
She's
you're running the football right now.
Zach, she's a Penn State grad.
Oh, nice, very nice.
Is she from the city? Does she live in the city?
Right. So right now she does. I haven't really got into hometown yet.
Oh, good. I get it.
Yeah, she's in Chinatown right now.
Okay. Nice. Nice. Good food.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's the picking up a girl story of the year.
Yeah,
that was
phenomenal.
great. I know. I'm pissed off too. Of course, like at the climax of all this, I had like the stream had a break. I love that.
Never fails.
But real quick, do you guys want to go into that? We were joking around saying like, what would you say? Because Chad, that is the definition of like clutch. Like everything about that, the moment, just taking it over. I was thinking about that. Like, who is like the most clutch athlete? And I feel there's a lot of different ways you can attack this question. Some people are routinely. Some people are like, oh, they're only clutch, but they didn't do a whole. Like so. I guess like what? I'll put you on the spot first. Like, what would you say would be like the most clutch athlete in your opinion?
So when I think of clutch, I think of like, someone who's just there at the end to always and is consistent and is steady Eddie when, the going gets tough and it's a game winning or game tying situation. So I kind of wanted to think a little outside of the box. So I chose good old Adam Vinatieri, the kicker, given, how many Super Bowls he's won and mainly because of his clutchness, his clutch ability to either kick a game winning field goal or a tying field goal. In the media, which we don't know who to believe or what to believe anymore, they named him Mr. Clutch. So, it has to be true, right? So
I love that.
I figured I'd go a little outside the box and go with Adam Vinatieri. There's definitely a lot of great clutch athletes, though, for sure.
He was good. I mean, he's like just any field goal he ever needed, he was hitting it. So
yeah,
against anybody too. Like there's certain teams like they're just everyone on your team kind of sucks against. Like didn't matter for that man.
When you asked this question, Karen, I was trying to think back at like, all right, what players did I like hate growing up because they were just so good and they always broke my heart like when I needed them to mess up, and Vinatieri was one of them. So
it's the truth, like because that's a really good way of putting it
in a respectful way.
I think it's funny. I'll take what you just said and kind of run with what I had to, because dude, I think you hit the nail right on the head. Because for me, that's what Kobe Bryant was. I wasn't a Kobe guy growing up because I mean, look, I'll come full circle on my little soapbox on this. I didn't like him growing up because as a Philly guy, I just felt like even though I went to Lower Merion, I felt like he didn't really want to associate himself with being in Philly, playing in Philly, and it was more one of those things where he just. But then this sounds hard. I really feel terrible, and this wasn't due to the circumstance, but after he passed away, you read so much more about like the man's life and things he did and like how many different lives he touched. My whole opinion on him changed a lot, and I'm being open. I think it helped me mature a little bit as a person, as a sports fan, and say, okay, like let's actually now reassess this guy's career. And I just think all the time when you think about how great he is, when people say one of the greatest of all time, how is he not in the category? That step back was literally lethal. Black Mamba was his nickname. I mean, but it's over when he would take that shot. And the amount of times the reason why I laugh and say, I can recall him, the guys who want people to, like, Zach, you nailed it. The people that you want to miss the kick, miss the shot, like that's how you grade these things sometimes, like, because they never do. Tiger Woods never missed the putt kind of thing. And like, that's another one we could have had in there. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, man, oh man, like just those shots. And Chad, honestly, the other one I had in my head, it was like, I feel like you and I could go 1A or 1B on this.
Yeah, no, I mean, cliche, and maybe not cliche, not the right word, but I mean, it's Michael Jordan. Like, I know it's not 1,000% there on the percentage of made shots in the clutch that he's made, but that's just because of the overall volume, like the amount of times he had that shot in his hands, and they would consistently go to him. But the thing is, I feel like in all of the big moments, like playoff moments, he hit the shot every time. Like, I think did he do it to the Jazz 3 different times?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I couldn't imagine being a sports fan and having a game-winning shot going against me from the same exact guy more than one time. Like, I would just imagine if Kawhi had hit that shot in Game 7, but he had also hit the same shot in Game 4. Like, I would have just been like,
Yeah.
what can you do?
Right, exactly. And I love, real quick, I want to add, Joe had some great points in the chat too. Like the way we've been talking about LeBron tonight, right? And then obviously we're talking about Kobe and MJ. Like Kobe, I like, just to kind of tie that in, I feel like Kobe and LeBron, or sorry, Kobe and MJ, like Joe was saying in the chat, are like the same contemporary. Whereas like LeBron's just he's soft, like
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
but that's where I'm saying like LeBron. Yeah, I mean, I just the ones that matter, MJ was hitting. That's where I stand on that.
Yeah.
Like LeBron had a lot of LeBron's clutch moment shots. Majority of them are outside of playoffs, which is great. You're still clutch. Like nothing against the guy, but like MJ was hitting those things in the playoffs where it mattered the most.
Yeah. I had some honorable mention guys too.
let's hear it.
Like Reggie Jackson, Mr. October.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great one.
Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods, obviously, we talked about. And Patrick Waugh, to dive into some hockey talk there.
Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh. What you know about Patrick Waugh, guy over here? Look at you. I love this. Honestly, why'd you pick him? I mean, I remember them being good, the Abs being good, but I don't remember why. I'm not saying that as snark, but I mean, like, why'd you put Patrick Waugh on the list?
I just remember him, like, that was when I was younger, obviously, and I was in hockey at that point in time in my life. And I just remember, Peter Forsberg, Joe Sakic, or Sakic, however you say his last name, and they were just heartbreakers, and like no one could score on them. I think
got a fire autographed Joe Sakic jersey from Chad's auction, by the way. Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Whatchamacallit? In the Stanley Cup Finals, I think it was a 96 or whichever one around that time. He saved, out of 151 shots, he saved 147 of them. He only let 4 goals in the whole series.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Had to throw that one in there for you.
I love that. Now let me ask you this. I know we're going to talk like some barbecue and we're going to talk some venues and sports. You want this? I didn't realize we're just going to roll along here. Do you want to save some of that stuff for Thursday then? For Thursday's show, and we'll talk Mojo Monday.
Yeah, sure.
Works for me.
Fine with me.
All right, let's rock and roll. We'll also add in my purchase, my Myrtle Beach purchase I made last night.
Oh, I saw that. That's great.
You think I'm actually going to just real quick? All right, real quick, because this is like a time-sensitive thing. So before we jump into Mojo Monday. So the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, a single-A affiliate of the Chicago Cubs. Zach, did you see this, by the way, that they are selling it? They're like $15 at the stadium. It's like a baseball bat-sized beer glass. So like if you played dizzy bat, in college or whatever, like with the football bat, I think it's like that size, if you will.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they're selling them. So of course everyone's like, yo, like, where do I get one of these? So their social media team posted and said, if you Venmo our GM $25, because basically they're saying like, look, we can't like sell open alcoholic beverages across state line, like right, like obviously there's all those blurred lines. So basically they says, look, we'll have almost someone buy the beer for you at the game, dump the beer out, drink it, like whatever they need to do, I guess, and then we'll just mail you the bat. So literally they're having everyone Venmo the GM of this team. And so I obviously did it. $25, and it's amazing. I saw the Pelicans, like their social media team tweeted today, because Barstool got a hold of it. So God knows how many messages they're probably working through. The GM did favorite my tweet. Didn't hear back from them yet, but as you can see, I did tweet out. I was like, oh yeah, it's best $25 ever spent. Woo! I have the Venmo purchase. I'll break out there. So actually, no, let's pull it for you right now. So there is proof. There is proof that the bat was purchased. Now the question is, will we get it? I've not heard from their team yet, but I also imagine they have like $1 trillion. I'd love to get Ryan on the show, honestly. I think it'd be so cool. Like this is, because it's really cool. Like, I saw he was on like the Dan Patrick show today, and it's like, that's really cool. Like, you're working for like a single-A baseball team, and like you're working your ass off to get to where you need to be, and it's like, that's such a cool moment. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, especially at that level, like you said, single A. They don't really get as much love as they deserve, so it's cool.
Yeah, and to that point, hopefully I'll get the bat. And I was going to, put it up in here. I really wanted more decoration for the studio. I thought it'd be kind of fun just to have it in the background. I'm like slowly starting to build up this little getup. But But yeah, no. So we'll see if that comes in. But you guys, we'll do a little Mojo Monday. I figure I'd just kind of get the ball rolling with there. And I actually have a couple honorable mentions for you, Zach, on that. So, but real quick, I'll say at that point, Zach, do you want to get us started? Because I love your story on this today.
Yeah, for sure. So ESPN, usually ESPN's a part of our clickbait, but they actually did a really nice story regarding John Daly that not many people know about. So as most people know, so this is the PGA Championship week, and John Daly won in 1991. It was like the seventh alternate. It was a hell of a story. Anyway, so he won the PGA Championship. The Friday during that tournament, apparently there was very just horrible weather at this tournament, and the officials told everyone that the fans needed to leave and evacuate the facility. So there was a fan, a new golf fan that was there, and he was walking to his car. And he was struck by lightning and tragically, sadly, was killed in the parking lot. And he had a wife and kids, right? So John Daly wins the tournament. Then 2 days later, his total winnings at the time, little fun fact, was only 230,000 only, but nowadays it's like 1.5 million. Anyway, wins 230,000, and he finds out what happened, and he gave the family, the wife and the kids, $30,000 of his winnings to be put to their college fund, which is a great story. And I didn't know it literally just came out like today. That's how much under wraps it was. It was just him being a great person and trying to help a grieving family and try to make it a little. It's not easy, but just to help out.
And you think about what $30,000, like to that point, what $30,000 meant more then than obviously it does now. And then on top of that, Zach, right? Like it's just like no one knew about this, right? Like the best deeds are the ones that never are told about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Because you're not searching for attention. You just do it out of the kindness of your heart.
Absolutely, the anti-LeBron effect, basically.
Exactly.
By the way, I saw what Joe put in the chat. We gotta help somebody out. That was one of my honorable mention Mojo Mondays. We're gonna get to in a second. Operation Michael Bob. But real quick, Chad, you want to go first?
Michael Bob, yeah. Yeah. No, it's actually great that this entire podcast today has been LeBron hate because it bodes well for my Mojo Monday, which is it's more mojo for just anyone that doesn't like LeBron, which we all obviously don't like him.
No.
It is that the man that has made his life as easy as possible the last 9 years now, and as easy as possible, I mean like the road to the finals. Like no matter where he's playing, he always legitimately just walks to the finals. That man now has to face probably the toughest road if he would like to get back to the NBA Finals, because if he wins the first game, they're playing the 2 seed. If he loses the first game but then wins the second playing game, they're playing the 1 seed. And then as you're going through all of that, doesn't really matter. You're going to have to beat the good teams anyway. Like you're not just going to see one of them. You're going to see all of them, being that you're going to be the lowest seed remaining. So it is so great to me that the man that had to actually just wake up and go to the gym for the first 8 to 12 playoff games of every year the last 9 years now actually has to compete the entire way through the playoffs. So we'll actually see if he can still get back there this year, because I don't really think so.
Hope not.
Love that.
Hope not. All right. And to that point, I'll spin it because I feel like I'm almost going the other way around with you, Chad. So normally I don't like the Boston Bruins. I don't like them at all as a Flyers fan, and I'm not a Brad Marchand fan at all. But this is the beauty of sports, right? You always got to tip your cap where credit's due. And Marchand was warming up. Puck hit a little girl as they were warming up, and credit for him that he's noticing where it hit. If you're it's hard to notice that from being on ice level and looking up to see where you might actually hit someone, but. He gave it, autographed the stick, the whole get up for a Capitals fan, and that was really cool. I thought that was just touching, and I think that's just one of the beautiful things about the hockey culture. And then real quick, another add-on. Gotta give our boy Alonso out in Spain some love, guys. Atletico Madrid won. They were down 1-0 at the 75-minute mark, and they put up 2 goals in the 80-minute stretch, and they're one step closer to winning their Spanish league over there. So. Nice. I almost feel like it helped him and his team that we didn't watch, because there's no chance in hell, Chad, right? You know this all too well as the times we watch soccer together. there's no chance that the team we're rooting for would score 2 goals in a meaningful game with 10 minutes to go. No.
Nope.
So I'm this is good.
No
this
way,
is
no
good.
how.
No. So I'm so happy for Alonso and the Spanish crew, and we're going to keep riding them. Let's go. We're going to keep riding those vibes. So that's my little secondary Mojo Monday. And then real quick, so the Michael Bob story, I feel like is just something funny in general. You see Michelob Ultra commercials, and our one buddy, friend of the show, Dan Lasort, one day said to me and Joe P, he was like, "Ah, you guys drinking some Michael Bobs?" Just as just kind of like the running joke. So like now, anytime we see Michelob and in general, it's like Michael Bobs, let's go, baby. Like just to kind of hype it up. Especially now we're getting older, and it's like, oh yeah, it's like like no sugar, no carbs or anything. Like works for me. Just kind of caught on Twitter. I don't even know Rudy, but now Rudy and I are family at this point. When you're going for Michael Bobs, so I guess Rudy reached out to Michelob Ultra and asked if how many retweets it would take to get like a gift package, and 250 was the number, so we were like on it. So we're trying to help Rudy out, get those Michael Bobs. So we got to help him. He's a 10. Well, that's why I brought him on the show, because I was like, he needs help. He needs the help. It got cool when me and Joe and Dan retweeted, and it just iced off at that. It was like 7, 8, 9, 10. And just now we need get your asses on Twitter. Let's go. Come on, like help the guy out. Let's go. And then you guys have followings. Let's get this guy. 250 is not hard. If it was 250,000, I'd be like, I don't know how I can help you, man. But 250, we can get that for him. Come on now, we can help the guy out. And it's like good. It goes back to we're trying to do good deeds now, Zach. It's a little bit different, but we're trying to help out. And then my other backup was Myron. When he is fifth ring, guys, beast mode, absolutely beast mode. Lord of the Q. But we'll talk more about Myron and barbecue and stuff, and we'll have some more announcements on that. But without further ado, Zach Point.
He's got 11 now.
11.
I just did.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I thought I had 11 races. I'd say, damn, like, but no, it's that point for anything, all the updates and stuff. Speaking of social media, check us out on social media for the sidetrack stuff. So Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. Well, actually, it's just Instagram and Twitter @_get sidetracked. Reddit, it's the r/get sidetracked. Reddit channel, and then check us out on the website as well, www.get-sidetrack.com. And then Spotify and iTunes, as always, for all the audio episodes. And all that cool stuff. And like I said, for video, check us out on Twitch, follow the heart to the left, subscribe to the right. We're trying to get our metrics up too, by the way. We're not just, not just Operation Michael Bob's, we're Operation Sidetrack metrics over here. And, part of those metrics are YouTube. So if you want to subscribe and follow us on YouTube, it's free. Check us out. We got highlights, clips. We'll definitely be reposting Chad's dating story on there. That's going to be a fun one. Oh, yeah. By the way, if you guys get married, like this is getting played at your wedding. Just throw that out there. And you know what? And honestly, if that does happen, we got to obviously wear some apparel from the Sidetrack store. So we can always get ahead of ourselves here by like 9 years and 9 people maybe, but and get some Sidetrack stuff for that potential wedding. So you go in the store, maybe you need a neck gaiter if that's still fashionable at the time. Who knows? I don't know, probably not. But if there's tank tops, those are fashionable this time of year. All right, but anyway, check us out in the store for all that good stuff. Look at this. The technology was fried today, but you know what we may do, and here we are. So yeah, we'll have Thursday's gonna be fun because obviously, I'm sure we'll be talking about John's behavior at the Phillies game tomorrow when me and Chad go to see that one. Zach, that'll be a fun one, and then yeah, we got barbecue. We'll talk some sports venue stuff. So we got a whole lot of good stuff on Thursday. But you guys have any parting thoughts before we jump off?
PGA Championship starts Thursday, so should be good.
Yeah,
That'll be fun.
We got PGA. We got PGA, and I was correct. Monaco for Formula One. This is the race you guys need to watch. This is like the one that'll get you into it. It is
perfect.
Hold my hand through it.
Yeah, so Saturday morning's qualifying. Sunday morning is the race.
Okay,
that's where the fun, the magic happens. And actually, you kind of need to watch both, because qualifying sets you up for where you start the race.
It's like watching Thursday and Friday of a golf tournament kind of a thing.
Yeah, but no, for this race, it's a lot more important because, like, let's say you're starting 5th, like. 4th might be the only chance you have at getting anything like closer unless there's a big accident. Like it is impossible to overtake people. You're in a city. You are literally driving through a city. These guys when they talk about it, they're literally like it's like driving through a tunnel for 200 laps. Like It's
Wow.
it's insane. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
I love it.
Monaco.
All right, man. I'm down to watch it. All right, perfect. All right, so without further ado, then we'll be back on the air Thursday at 7 o'clock. Like I said, check us out on social media aspects. And at this point, we appreciate everyone